Good evening and welcome to the Wednesday, October 23rd, 2013 meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. First item on the agenda is to vote minutes of October 16th, 2013.
Madam Chairman, I've read the minutes. There were a couple minor corrections. Page 1, I'm not an alternate. Page 5, there was a reference to 100 square feet that appears to be an error. And on page 8, there is a, should be an insert stating that the comments by Tom were fine. I passed them all
What was
on
the
to.
100? Oh, you passed them all?
I passed them over to Susan.
So that's your motion to?
that
That's
a
my
motion?
motion to accept it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor of the motion on the table, which is to accept the minutes of October 16th? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Request for continuance under notice of intent. Town of Falmouth Beach Committee, care of Don Hoffer, Monont Beach, Monont Road, map 4520-002-000, for permission to remove all hidden rocks, asphalt, pilings, wooden structures, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, the applicant has requested continuance until October 30th.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments on the board? Any comments from the audience? Okay, motion on the table is the continuance to October 30th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Request for determination of applicability. James Clark, care of John Searles, 191 Penzance Road, Woods Hole, for permission to lift existing stair treads, level the area, and install a chair lift system.
Yes, Madam.
You have to recuse yourself.
Yes.
Yes, Madam Chairman, the staff reviewed the project. This is after the confirmation that is being requested, and we are recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
Second?
No, nobody,
No.
nobody moved.
All right,
I will
Move.
move it.
move it.
Now he's moved. Will you
I'll
second?
Now I'm moved. Wake me up. We got a Red Sox game to go to.
Okay, for those young people in the back row, a request for determination of applicability is to see whether we need to apply the Wetlands Protection Act or the local bylaw for particular work. And if we feel the work can be done without the board hearing the full scope of it and having to condition it, then we allow people to do it, and it's a negative determination. So a negative determination means people can actually go ahead with what they've asked to do. And in this case, apparently, the people have already gone ahead. Okay, there's a motion on the table to accept staff's recommendation of a negative determination. Is there any further questions? Any questions in the audience? Okay, all in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Falmouth Beautification Council, care of Stanley Bezicki. Is that you?
Yes.
All right. 140 Catherine Lee Bates Road, map 38A090005A000, Falmouth, for permission to remove a selective invasive tree, shrub, and vine vegetation along Catherine Lee Bates Road and the Mullen Hall path and vista views from selective benches. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, Mark met with Rocky on the tree warden to go over everything, and we're recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table. Mr. Bezicki,
Yeah.
could I ask you a question? I have a question. Could you come up to the microphone and say who you are for everybody out in TV land?
My hearing's not great. What was that again?
Say who you are.
Oh, is this working?
Yes, it is.
Stanley Bezicki, at this time, President of the Beautification Council.
Okay, and my question is, what is the Beautification Council? Just for the edification of
Oh,
all of us.
it's a long story. I wish I had it in front of me. It was all written out.
Well,
The
just
object of
a
the
couple of
council-
words.
The object of the council is to areas in Falmouth to make them look more beautiful for the residents and visitors. We do gardens all over Falmouth, the police station, finish line garden in the Heights for the
Okay.
road race.
So we should talk to you if we have questions and
Yep.
ideas and want to volunteer for something, right?
Oh, yeah, it's all
Okay.
volunteers.
Okay.
Old volunteers, I'm afraid.
Well, see, you have some young people in back who may go back and spread the word that,
Yeah,
that we
I
need
wish
more
they
help
would.
in beautification projects.
We're trying to get new members.
Good.
Good luck, right?
Well, thank you. Well, if people want to know how to get in touch with you, well, they can call us, and Jen will have, Melanie have the information available.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we can get you some volunteers.
Yep, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so we have, are there any other questions? Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the table to accept staff's recommendation of a negative determination, which means you can go ahead with what you've discussed with Mark.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Request for hearings under a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are heard simultaneously under the authority of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. First up, Quistit Harbor Land Trust, 71 Quistit Harbor Land Trust, Woods Hole, for permission to install core fiber rolls for bank stabilization, revegetate the bank with native plantings, install stone pavers in the walkway areas on the earth-filled stone pier, along with pier maintenance, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I will save any of my questions until after Mr. Martin's presentation.
David, good evening.
For the record, David Martin here on behalf of the applicant. Bill Armstrong was with me. He would be doing the work if you approved it. This is the entrance to the knob. If you look on the upper left of your plan, you'll see where Quistit Harbor Road comes along and the footpath comes out. Below that is a blown-up section of that. Gives you a little bit better detail. In the stone pier area, we're proposing some stone pavers and a couple in the pier section. Some have been placed there previously under previous notice of intent, and that's been very successful. We'd like to do more of that work. A little
Excuse me,
further out,
gentlemen.
just past the pier, you'll see there's a beach and a coastal bank. Very small bank, goes from elevation 5 to 8. That's been scoured away. It's lacking vegetation. It's right adjacent to the footpath. You can see right at the pier, the footpath and the bank are almost one and the same. We're concerned that that would fail and prevent the path from being used. So we're proposing to stabilize the toe of that and plant that up. That's it in a nutshell. Questions?
That's it. Jen, do you have any questions?
No, not at all.
Lori?
Well, the only question I had is, what is this area used for between the stone walls?
Can I come over and see what you're pointing at?
Right here.
That's, there's a, correct me if I'm wrong, yacht club used there.
David, could you answer into the microphone? Thank you.
That is a gathering place for people to enjoy the use of the yacht club. That's their pier, and they're traveling back and forth to the pier. So kids play there, people congregate there in the summer, things of that nature.
Okay. Mike?
Well, first, thank you. That path gets a lot of use, and seeing protected is a great thing. We appreciate that. In that same area with the stone pavers, is the approximate density you have shown is about right?
Yes.
My point is, you're not
Right.
covering the whole thing.
No, you'll see in the lighter lines, in the pen widths, those exist, and the heavier ones are the ones that are proposed. So we're proposing 3 or 4 in the open area, and then the continuous path in the path area.
Okay, fine, beautiful, thank you.
Good project. My first date with my wife was going out to the end of the knob.
I won't ask about that.
Must have
It
been
has
successful.
led to a very fruitful marriage. This is something that will, again, be approached, I'm sure, in the future, because maintenance, this is a maintenance thing,
This is ongoing every year. There's a
Yep.
little bit of something to keep the place in shape.
absolutely, no questions.
Bill even said to me, I saw Bill outside the hearing, and he mentioned that he would be coming in and saying that we haven't really seen much for a number of years. And I had just seen the pictures of the '54 hurricane where the sailboats were up on the road. So, but even a normal winter storm, you could have swells come in. I mean, you do
Oh,
have,
sure.
you
No,
do
we
have
see,
swells
you
come
see
in
a
there.
lot of erosion and damage along the inner side of the harbor.
Right.
It's quite remarkable. If you walked out there, halfway out, there's a bank that's just completely given way.
Right, and Bill was here 2 years ago, maybe, for
Yes.
another project that some of us were on. And that's doing its job thus far,
Yes, yes.
yeah. Tommy,
No questions.
Court.
No questions. My only comment is I'd agree with Tom. This is a maintenance project. It's necessary. It's ongoing. And it's an important area that gets a lot of high traffic. It has to be used.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know how old that stone pier is? And the wall along?
I don't have any knowledge to base this on, other than observing it, and I would put it in the late 1800s, just by guesstimate,
Yeah. And it's
that's
beautiful
based on-
stone work all around there.
on the style of construction.
You're laughing. Do you have another answer?
Well, it's been rebuilt
Yeah,
about 10 years ago.
all right. Okay,
Jen, we don't have a DEP number.
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
I think
Close
it's
the
big-
hearing and take it under advisement.
No, we can't.
We have it.
Don't have a DEP number.
Okay,
Call
I'm going to
Christine.
continue the hearing.
I did.
What do we do?
And she'll
She's
get
way
to you next-
behind. She's processing October 3rd applications, and this was an October 11th. So that gives you a sense of how far behind she is.
She can get it to me next week. If not, we're gonna have to wait till,
She's not the kind of girl you can push.
I know that.
Well, let's continue it to next week.
Uh,
If we have it, we'll close
continue
it.
to next week for the DEP number, Dave, and I'll give her a call.
Great, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because if
Well, my
not, you're
motion is-
looking at the end of November.
So my motion is
that's-
to continue it to next week.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion second on the table to continue it to next week. The only information, the only thing we need for the record is the DEP number. We have all the information. Is there any questions? Are there any questions from the audience? Okay, motion and a second on the table to continue this to October 30th. You don't even have to come.
Thank you.
And if we don't get the DEP number,
Would-
Jen, we know that you're asking to continue to the next available date. Okay, Jen?
Yep.
Okay, motion on the table, all in favor, say aye.
aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Dave.
Town of Falmouth Waterways Committee, Waterways Committee and Harbor Master, care of Greg Frazier, Washburn Island map 4104000002, Wacoit, for permission to maintenance dredge the Wacoit Channel with beach nourishment on South Cape Beach, Mashpee, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I will wait until Lynn's presentation. If there's any questions.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Lynn Fraker. I'm the permit consultant for the Harbor Master's Office, and you've seen Wacoit before. This is a much reduced project from what you've seen before, and we feel that this area, there was no complaints and no objections to dredging this area. The channel will be about 1,130 feet long, 100 feet wide, dredged to -6. The spoils will go to South Cape Beach, and we do have they do have an order of conditions. The DPW holds an order of conditions, which was in question for a while. We have the number of that, too. It's 1,200 cubic yards, greatly reduced from 6,000 cubic yards, and it's about 50,000 square feet of land under the ocean. It starts at the seaward end by the jetties and ends at the landward end of the jetties just before it curves. So it's a relatively small project. I have an email from Marine Fisheries. They will not be re-reviewing it. They'll be using the review that they originally did, and I have this email from Eileen Feeney. We haven't heard from NHESP yet, although I have the proof of mailing. And, of course, there'll be time of year restrictions on the dredging, and for the dredging, it will be combined. The time of year restriction will be January 15th to August 31st. And for South Cape Beach, it will be April 1st to August 31st. So we will not be able to put sand on the beach. This is basically, okay. So you have any questions about this project?
Lori?
My only question is, I can't see how the channel went before the dredge. I guess this was meant to depict it, but it's...
No, you should have, this is the channel. There was no, the channel comes down and makes a turn and goes up. That's the actual, there was no dredge. It was dredged in the 1940s, I believe. We don't have actual proof, we just have evidence that it was dredged then. But yeah, it goes down, makes the curve, and then comes up into Waquoit Bay. The area that of concern was up here in Waquoit Bay, and that's no longer on the table. It's just this first section of the first leg of the channel.
Okay.
Okay.
Mike?
The footprint of the area, that 1,140 feet or whatever it is, that you are dredging, or proposing to dredge, is relatively small.
Yes, it is.
It's in the northeast. Was there a reason for selecting the wider area?
Selecting a 100-foot area, you mean?
No,
I'm
for
not clear.
Yeah, you're proposing 1,130 feet, but you're taking a very small area then. Was there a reason why you selected the 1,130 feet as opposed to something?
Yes, because it went from the seaward end of the jetty down to where there was, after this, there was shellfish concerns. So we made the channel in the area where there were no shellfish concerns, including taking it out of this corner, too. There was a corner that was concerned. So
Yes.
it just goes straight in an area where there's no shellfish concerns. That's the basis of why it's only 100 and why it's as short as it is. The main area of concern is actually around, if you look on your plan, around A3.
Right.
And that's the area where it's actually starting to shoal over. So we're hoping to, that's the main area that will be dredged. You can see the rest of the area is kind of, right now, is fairly deep, but that area is definitely silting in.
What area is that? Oh, the A3.
Around
A3,
A3,
yeah.
you can see the contour
Yeah.
lines.
Mike?
I think that's it. I'm good.
Mike, this is what you need to do.
I did the wrong one.
Yes.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom?
My recollection is that, and there were concerns over the entire project when this first was brought out. It wasn't just on that corner. I still have some reservations about the depth that's necessary. That was debated back and forth. This is quite different, no doubt. Your dredge is 5 foot with a 1 foot over, so your maximum depth would be 6 feet
6 feet, yes.
at mean low. The shoaling that you're receiving in the A3, I can understand that. And it is away from where we did have a majority of the concerns. I still have, this channel needs to be addressed. There is no denying that. And this is the information that I have, and I have no further questions. Thank you.
Tommy?
No questions.
Court?
No questions?
I have some questions. First of all, yeah, it's a little deceptive to say that there weren't any shellfish concerns. As Greg well knows, there were certainly shellfish
I meant
concerns.
in this particular, we took the area where the fishermen felt that there weren't any, were
Well,
less
you
concerned.
talked with the fishermen, but in fact, fishing is done along this channel, and there are a lot of shellfish there. That said, there's obviously competing interest here, and I think you've done a good job of trying to work with another aspect of the community that has perhaps different interests than you do. But it isn't fair to say that there were no concerns here. I have a question, and again, it might be for Greg or Mike. I'm just curious about the history of, and I don't know if you can see this from here, but this is Wacoit and this is Nantucket Sound. What's that opening in the?
Behind the rocks,
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the hydrodynamics of that, that's what's causing that big scooping and then shoaling to the
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and we have the same issue further down, right in the bend. Exactly, that it's being undermined, and that's what's creating that little pool.
Yeah,
Exactly, and a lot of that is going in, but, this has been a relatively slow creep. It's not like the other inlets on the south side where it's an annual event where it fills in. This
that
we
fills
don't-
in it on a
On
sort
a
of a seasonal
basically,
basis.
yeah, storm by
right.
storm, they can fill in. This, we don't have that problem because of the length of the jetty. We do
Yeah.
get some spillover on top when it bad storms, but we don't anticipate having to go back in and redo this for quite some time. As we said, this whole project hadn't been dredged last time, it was in the 40s, I think.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if, and I don't know what it would, I can envision that there would be a permitting bonanza, but if you would want to improve these jetties to basically keep that channel, keep a nice open channel.
I mean, I think ideally, we would like to do that. It's just, given the
Is
resources that we
are
have
those
now,
jetties the
we have to
town's
divert them.
responsibility?
Pardon me?
Are those jetties the town's responsibility?
No, they would not be. They'd be the federal government's responsibility, and as you know, they're not paying for much of anything these days as far as jetties. We would like to have, I mean, we could move forward.
We can leave it at that.
We could move forward with the permitting. It's just we have limited permitting resources, and, most of it's eaten up by small dredge projects, to be quite honest with you. We do move it with bulkheads, et cetera, but as you know, because we've been in front of you, but we have not really, since I've been here, touched any of the jetties.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I think just looking at the pattern that developed, that's
Yeah.
why you're getting the pool and
we were
it's
talking
being
about
scoured
this.
out right into the other side of the,
We were talking about this very issue the other day with Warren's Pond. Same thing's happening there, where it's going right through the jetties
yeah.
and filling in.
Okay, I have a couple of other questions. One is, do you have a DEP number?
Yes.
Okay? And the other is,
But no natural heritage.
they did include letters from the previous one, but we do need natural heritage, don't we?
Yeah, they gave us DMS letters from, right, Lynn?
Right,
DMS, but we
and
need
the
natural.
email from Eileen says that they're going to, that she's not going to re-review it, and I'll give this to you.
That's fine, but we still need
NHESP
natural.
does want to review it. I
Yeah.
did speak with them, they do want to re-review it, and they have we have all the proof of mailing back, we just haven't heard from them.
Right, so we're gonna have to,
30
it just
days.
means that if we have enough information to make a decision, we're gonna have to wait to close it until we have that. My other question was, and part of the 30 pages that I left behind was, when I read through this, I said, do they have a permit from Mashpee? And you have a permit, but the last date that I see on that permit is 2006.
Well, I think Lynn will explain we haven't gotten anything official from Mashpee other than the emails, but the actual permit that she referenced, or you should have, it's
Well, I think we had a copy of it.
43-1611.
Yeah.
That actually allows for beach renourishment in perpetuity, and that's a DPW permit, not a waterways for Mashpee.
And we've asked them for a
You don't need a
copy.
conservation permit
Well,
for beach nourishment?
There was
It
one from the
was.
DPW, but one of their order of conditions within that permit that she referenced is beach renourishment on South Cape Beach in perpetuity.
Oh, well, see, I didn't read.
We
Some of
we
those
just
30
found this
pages I
out.
didn't
read.
We've been going, we've
There
been.
was some confusion.
There was
Yeah.
some confusion, but we have it straightened out, and Drew hasn't sent us a copy yet, but he did give us the number.
Okay, good. Well, that answers my questions in the 4 pages that I,
Lynn, do you know
Had
when
pertinent
we
questions on
mailed it to Natural Heritage? For their green card?
I have the green cards with
We'll
me. I
take
have,
that.
I'll give you the
If you-
both.
Because they have 30 days from when they received
Yeah, I'll-
it. We received this on the 9th of October.
I have, this is mailed on the 11th. I have the NHSP for Wacoita stamped on the 11th, 10/11. I have the receipt here, and I do have the green card returned.
you don't think we'll get it by next week? No. So, but it's just, this will be quick when we do get it.
Oh,
So-
all you need is Natural
so when's our
Heritage,
next meeting?
Unless they raise some concern that we don't foresee, but I can't.
I can't
see them
imagine, it's a
raising
reduced
any
project, I can't imagine
Concerns
that.
that they haven't already
Raised.
raised in
Right.
the past, they just want to re-review it, but I doubt we'll have it by next week.
So
I mean, we can continue it to next week, but
why don't we
I highly
continue it
doubt
to
it'll
next
be
week?
her.
And why don't you ask for it to be continued to next week with, if we don't have the information, to continue it to the next available date?
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
That's the motion.
okay.
Okay, so I'll make that motion.
And I will second it.
We all set, Susan? Okay. Any other questions on the board? Yes.
Another question. This is just out of my curiosity. The federal government's responsible for maintaining the jetties, but they don't maintain the waterway that it holds open. It's just-
No, DCR also has a lot to do with the jetties too. They've been doing surveys and they've been trying to look at all the jetties and see what's wrong and try to fix them. But it's the Corps that built all the jetties, right? And they
Yeah, it
really
is,
have
yeah.
responsibility. And the money, if the state comes up with some money, there might be a possibility. But they've prioritized all the jetties, haven't they, as from which are worse and which are gonna get money and which aren't gonna get money. I don't think anybody's gotten any of that money yet.
But then the Coast Guard will maintain the markers?
No, the Coast Guard gave up that maintaining Wacoita Channel many, many years ago. Those are all town maintained.
They give them inside bodies of water?
They're all permitted by the town.
Right, and maintained by your department?
Correct.
Thank you.
Do you do the outside one, Greg, the one where the osprey's set up?
Those two jetty lights, those are both town permitted and
Oh,
maintained.
okay, you guys do those?
Yeah.
All right.
Mike?
Just to keeping moving along, you're going to need an engineer's stamp on drawing 39A and 42.
Okay.
There you go.
You'll get those for us?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table to continue to October 30th, and should we not have the necessary information, to continue it to the next available date. Are there any other questions on the board? Are there any questions from the audience? Okay, all in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Thank you. Okay, continued requests for hearings under a notice of intent. How are we doing on time? Town of Falmouth Beach Committee, care of Don Hoffer, Minot Beach. That's continued to next week. Do we have that information yet?
Some of that information came in today, not all of it. Most likely, Mr. Hoffer will be continuing his hearing until early December.
Okay.
I have
Edward-
to have that conversation with him tomorrow.
Okay, Edward Lyon, 20 Swift Street, West Falmouth, for permission to pump, fill, remove the existing cesspools, remove cedar trees and naturally vegetated buffer, uncover a 4-inch pipe, 4-inch diameter waste pipe for connection, install an enviroseptic leaching system, construct a unilock retaining wall around the leach system, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jeff, before you begin, let's see if Jen has any comments.
Why is that so low?
And we need to know, don't worry about that if you can see it.
No, I don't have any comments.
We need to know, what do we need to know? We need to know who's on the quorum.
We never opened.
We never opened it. We're all on the quorum. Good evening, Jeff.
Good evening. I am Jeff Ryther with BSS Design. Excuse me?
Jeff, can you just reference the plan they should be looking at? It's October 7th, I believe.
The revision is here October 7th. On the details, the same date, October 7th. Initially dated September 4th. But
Yeah, September 4th with the revision date of October 7th. I just want to make sure they're looking at the right plan.
anyway, again, I'm Jeff Ryther, BSS Design, representing the applicant. Just wanted to mention about the continuance. We had gone to the Board of Health. They had a couple of conditions that they wanted to see or revisions made. And so we took care of that, but in the meantime, I didn't know I had to go to a structural engineer about the wall. So I asked for a month, a continuance, so here we are. We did go to the board on Monday night and got approval for this system. Anyway, just to start with the project here, we have West Falmouth Harbor, considered land under the ocean. We have a salt marsh, coastal beach, coastal bank of riprap. The entire lot is in the flood zone. It's in a velocity flood zone. It's V14, elevation 16. I do want to say that a very similar system was installed here in the corner of Lot 13B. We're more or less mimicking that style of system. This is an upgrade, replacing two cesspools. They're shown coming out of the house here. One's under the proposed tank, one's in the leach field, so both will be removed. Putting in a standard 1,500-gallon septic tank to a 1,000-gallon pump chamber, and then lift it up into this elevated soil absorption system using the Presby pipe system. You'll see on the second page how that kind of works. Gravity feed, pump up to a D-box, and then gravity flow into the septic wastewater treatment pipe. There's details of that pipe here if you're curious about that as well. So the most landward resources, the top of the coastal bank. We have a 50-foot setback and a 100-foot setback, so the SAS is slightly into the 100-foot setback of the bank, but is more than 100 feet to the landward edge of the salt marsh. So I do believe it meets your regulations there. Again, it's in a velocity flood zone, and so we have a reinforced concrete wall around the perimeter of this SAS, and its highest point is 2 feet above grade, but it'll be about a foot above grade here, and about 2 feet here at the north end, that is north end of the system. The construction access is down Swift Street, and then it shows there, if you can read it, kind of small text, but into the lot. First thing that'll be done, the 2 tanks will be installed. They are in perhaps groundwater if they were to put them in during a moon tide, but I wouldn't recommend that. So if they were put in at low tide, probably won't need to dewater. But if they're put in at dead high, and if that happens, we have this dewatering area here, sort of a perimeter of hay bales to dump your groundwater into. But again, I'm not sure if that'll even come about. The footing for the wall is going to be above the high groundwater, so there will be no issues with that. Again, that's shown here, a 30-inch wide footing holding up that wall. Highest point is 2 feet above grade. I'd say an average about 1.5 feet above grade. Three cedars here present at the access point. They are tall, sort of leggy, no vegetation up to about 8 feet, but they're alive, of course, and but we have to take those down to install that system. This is the only access here. Gifford Place is really just a paper road. It's somebody's lawn, so I'm not going to propose going down that. Plus, it's a private road. So there's a note here to remove and replace those cedars. So the last thing they do as they come out is plant back the 3 trees. By the way, there's also in those trees is the overhead wires. I don't show them, but they are telephone, electric, and cable go right through those trees. So they really shouldn't be there for the utility to this house. So that's about it.
Where are you proposing to put them back? The exact same place or somewhere else on the lot?
Same place. It does say remove and replace. It doesn't say in the exact location, but they would like to put that back as screening because these systems aren't, too attractive, sticking out of the ground, and so a little barrier there as well as mitigation.
Jen, you have anything? Court?
No questions.
Tommy?
Is this type of system an improvement in your mind?
Well, yeah, it's not a denitrification system, but it is considered advanced treatment.
Right.
And you can typically see these when we have high groundwater issues, and rather than being, even 2 feet higher, we can bring that down closer to groundwater and still get the same protection.
Okay.
So, yeah, advanced treatment, but not denite.
Okay. Thank you.
Tom?
Glad to see the rebar on that wall. That's a big mat. That's a lot.
Yeah,
And that's crucial, because that's the end run for all this stuff. So I have
in
no
this whole
question.
neighborhood, I'm afraid one day, if that hurricane ever does come, that poor neighborhood, it's so low lying, I don't know what's going to happen out there.
No question.
More than just boats and drones.
I know, it's going to be a mess.
Mike?
Want to agree, I think the system is an improvement. It needs to be done. The south west corner, there's a stand of cedar. I think your mapping missed a true tree or two, so if you could just check that. You show.
Well, I do show, there
it's
were,
on
there's 3 trees
Southwest corner,
Southwest.
southwest corner.
down in here.
No,
West, go
towards
further west.
the west. You show 5 trees, and I count something like 7.
In here?
Yeah. You just missed it. It's okay.
Yeah, well, the limit of work's here, so we
Yeah.
don't plan to go into that area.
Okay. Well, let me,
I will say that I do show a tree here. If you've been to the site, there are, well, years ago, Burgess used to come right through here. And so those are planted in a row, and they're pretty much all dead. There's 3 dead trees in a row.
Yeah, that's not what he's talking about, though. He's
But you're
talking
talking about down in here.
down there.
I'll give you my picture and the map and let you
Well,
decide
show
if you
him-
can.
Show him the picture, but this stays in the file.
This is the one you gave me. It's okay. They're the pictures,
Right,
and there's where I counted.
right, we see those first three, huh?
I see more.
1, 2, 3, and then this one's off the lot here, but,
Take a look.
yeah.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm
No,
right,
I
that's
think
fine.
you're right. I'm not sure it matters to the project, because we're not.
I don't think it does,
We don't
but
propose-
it's on the plan. We
Yeah.
show the trees,
We would like to have a
record of where the trees are.
The record should
correct plan.
reflect it, yeah. Okay.
So, but I think we have enough information to make a decision. We might ask, do we have a DEP number? Yes, we do, because this was
I
supposed to
can
be.
give
able
it to you if you don't have it.
No,
Yeah.
we do.
You got it?
But we may ask you to give an updated plan.
Sure.
Lori?
Well, I do have to
No question.
provide, I'm sorry, typically an as-built, I could do it then, because this is, we'll have an order of conditions,
Yeah, we will decide.
and,
We'll let you know when
Yeah.
you get your order of decision. When you get your
order?
order of conditions, see what our decision is.
Okay.
Motion to close and take it under advisement.
Second.
Okay, any other questions? Any questions from the audience? Okay, we have a motion on the table to close this hearing and take it under advisement. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, unanimous, so moved.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Okay, Courtney,
Yes.
before you complain that this is going to be a continuance, let us explain that this is a continuance because we are not going to close the hearing until certain conditions are met in the field, and they haven't been met yet. Wigwam Sipawicet
I
Trust.
have to complain, as a matter of principle when it gets to 3.
Well, I know, but now we've got to 4 or 5. Silvestro Calabrese, trustee, 8 Wigwam Road, West Falmouth, for permission to install an elevated generator, repair and reconstruct an existing licensed stone riprap approximately 250 linear length in feet, construct access over a coastal dune and beach, restore the construction access route, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping.
Yes, Madam Chairman, the applicant is requesting a continuance because
We don't have the signs yet.
public access signs required by multiple orders of conditions and Chapter 91 are not yet installed on the property. And this board made it perfectly clear that you would not close this hearing or look favorably on an order of conditions unless the signs were reinstated.
That's
I
correct.
We're working
understand.
on that.
For the sake of the record, is there any explanation why signs are taking this
I was
long?
assured that the engineer himself was going to go and get the signs and put them up himself.
Will he have them by next week?
That he has requested October 30th.
On behalf of the applicant, I'd like to move, I'm recused from this.
Courtney?
Second.
No, Courtney, make the motion.
According,
Oh, I'll move to continue to the 30th?
there you go.
Second.
And I'll take a walk out there since I'm checking projects on that side for various reasons. We have a motion and a second on the table to continue this to October 30th. Are there any questions on the board? Are there any questions from the audience? Just to explain to those of you, there's a requirement of Chapter 91 when people have the right to go between high water and low water, and when they have to go around or over structures, there's a clear requirement for certain signs, and sometimes sometimes those signs get washed away by storms, and sometimes people forget to put them back. We'll leave it at that. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table to continue this to October 30th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I abstain.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Got that? So motion carries.
Do we have an ongoing quorum for this, or has it never been opened?
It wasn't on the phone.
Well, the ongoing quorum must be the 4 of us.
It is.
Are you going to be here next week?
No, I'm
Mike,
not
Betsy,
gonna be
Tom.
here next week.
Well, no, I have Mike, Betsy, Tom, and Tommy, so that's fine.
I cannot be on that.
Yeah.
I've been recused from the beginning.
Well, Mario's on it, so
All right.
just continue.
Yeah,
so.
it's continued. So if Mario's here, we can close it next week.
Yeah.
Okay, request to amend the existing order of conditions. Does everybody have the list? See this paragraph? I'm not gonna read all of this. I'm just gonna read part of it. Town of Falmouth Waterways, Harbor Master care of Greg Frazier, and I'm gonna get down to the relevant point, which is it in order?
Request to amend.
the existing order condition.
Yeah, down here, right.
Request to amend the
Where does it start?
Request to amend
Oh,
the
okay.
existing order.
Order of conditions to extend the permitted Green Pond channel dredging by 415 feet, 28,000 square feet, with improvement dredging of 1,100 cubic yards. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I will save any of my comments until after Ms. Fraker's presentation.
Good evening again.
Hello again. Okay, this is a request to amend the current order of conditions for the 10-year, or for the comprehensive order of conditions by extending Green Pond Channel. It'll be extended 415 feet into the pond. It will be 60 feet wide, except for the last 200 feet, which will be 90 feet wide. And this is for navigation. This is to allow the people with moorings there better access to the channel. It's shoaled in quite a bit at the end. And you have all the 60 feet wide, 1,100 cubic yards. It's not a lot. It's not a big project. And it will increase the total in Green Channel to 4,100 cubic yards. So it's, that increases that, and it's 28,000 square feet. So it's a small amendment. It's a small amount to add to the existing order. Today we got the response back from, did you get that, Jen? From Marine Fisheries? The letter came today, the email came today with the review of the channel. And we have not gotten NHESP yet, but I have the green cards for you. I can give them to you. So, and again, there will be, this is up in the estuary, there will be restrictions, the same as are on Green Pond right now. The dredge restriction will be January 15th to June 15th, and the beach nourishment will be on Acapesket improvement or Pines Trust. See that on here? Oh, there it is, Pine Trustees. And there's time of year restrictions on both of those beaches already. They're already permitted, and there are time of year restrictions already on there. So we'll be following those time of year restrictions as far as beach nourishment.
Lynn, what are the time of year restrictions on the beach?
For Pine Trustees, it's 5/1 to 7/31, and for Acapesket, it is 5/1, same, 5/1 to 7/31.
I would imagine it should be the
That's a
same. If it
combined-
wasn't, I would be a little
Yeah, it's
concerned.
combined for all the different
Yep, okay.
Part of that is
species.
horseshoe crab, right?
Yes, a great deal of it is, in fact, when you see the letter from Marine Fisheries, their major concern is horseshoe crabs. Are there any questions about
Okay,
this?
Courtney,
No questions.
Tommy,
No questions.
Tom.
One thing that from this presentation to the last, is that for the, disappointed there isn't something for the viewing audience at home to see. We have our information on our packet, but I'm sure that there's more than one in the audience at home that might appreciate, even though it's difficult sometimes to see, or even others in the audience, just to have something a little bit on the presentation. Likewise on the one prior to this. This is a minor amendment, and I'm looking at this wonderful reading. And it was issued in 2012 in February. This was the last time that this was before us. And again, I have all the information I need. Thank you.
Okay, and just for the audience, this whole page is a comprehensive dredging permit that was done the date that Tom just said. And I believe it's a 5-year permit, isn't it?
Yes,
Okay, this is one of the things the
10-year
town,
permit.
what?
10-year.
10-year permit.
It's a
Five.
5 with a 5. We
Yes.
can only give
Five.
5-year permits,
Yeah,
but it's
five
5
with
with
a
a, could have a 5-year extension.
Yes.
Just again to explain, this is one of the things over the past, since we've been on the board, that there are, waterways, beaches, there are certain things where the town has certain annual responsibilities or changes that they want to implement.
I know the problem.
Good, you were
It's okay.
successful. So the town group, in this case Waterways and Greg as the harbor master, have put together a comprehensive permit, which makes things much easier for them, much easier for you for permitting, and certainly much easier for the boards to work on. And the one we heard previous, when that came in as part of the comprehensive permit, actually, I think it came in originally as a permit on its own, and we had denied it. And then it came in as part of the comprehensive permit, and we still had some concerns, and Waterways went back, addressed those concerns, worked with other groups that share those resources. And tonight, we're back sort of cleaning up those areas. Yes?
At some point, we will need that same stamp on the showing on the plan.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. No other questions?
Yep, 26.
No question.
Lori? Okay,
Move to close it.
yep.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to close and take,
Actually,
No, we can't
can't.
oh, no, we
close it
can't
because
close
you
it.
don't have
Well, there we
natural-
are. We
have-
can't close it because we don't
don't have natural heritage.
so we'll do the same thing. We're going to have a motion to continue it until October 30th, and if we do not have the information on October 30th, then we will continue it until November
20th.
20th.
I'll
Is that
make
your motion? Okay?
second.
Okay, so that's our motion and our second, to continue to next week. If we have everything next week, we'll close it. If we don't have everything next week, it'll be continued until the 20th of November. Any more questions on the board? Any questions from the audience? Okay, all in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Okay, vote orders of conditions. We can do both these orders of conditions next week. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have a meeting. Fortunately, not too much longer. We can all make it home for the start of the game. You young people in the back, you're certainly welcome to come again. We hope we see you again.
You're never too young to volunteer.
You too could be up here. You could come every week. We do have 2 projects we're going to vote on next week. I have some homework for everyone, and that is to review the buffer regulations, in particular review the buffer regulations and the introduction to the buffer regulations, to review coastal bank regulations, and to review land subject to coastal storm flowage, which is 10.38.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Do you have a quorum for the number 58 off Sam Turner? In other words, the fact that I won't be here next week, will that be problematic?
Lori, Maria, Mike, Betsy, Tom, Tommy, and no, Courtney. You do matter, but it won't matter.
We
when
will
you're
miss
not
you.
here.
We will miss you next week, but
Well, I appreciate.
we will
that.
vote on
I
this.
missed,
You
but
matter,
I'm glad to know
but
that we
your vote
don't have to worry about the quorum.
so we will let you, since we won't see you for a few weeks, make the motion to adjourn.
I will move that we adjourn.
Yeah, we talked
May the
about
Red Sox win tonight.
deciding.
That's all quiet.
Okay, motion is second on the table to adjourn and hope that the Red Sox win. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope we can drum up some volunteers for you.